Hello students. Today we are going to start grade 11, unit 5, statistics and probability. Especially in this subtopic, I want to discuss about what is that statistics, types of data, discrete and continuous variables, ungrouped and grouped data, terms that we are using when we are discussing about group data. First, what is a statistics when you say? Statistics is a science of collecting, organizing, presenting, analyzing, and interpretation of data to give conclusions. In order to give conclusions. When you collect data, sometimes the result may be a number, sometimes the result may not be a number. This data can be divided into two types of data which cannot be expressed in number. We call it that qualitative data. A data which can be expressed numerically, we call it that quantitative data. For example, what is your father's occupation? If I say, I don't expect the result to be a number, that is qualitative. When I ask you that, how many children are there in your home? You will give me that number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives quantitative data. Quantitative data that you have collected, again, can be classified into two. Discrete, where all the results are whole numbers. If the results are real numbers, between two numbers what you have got, we call it that continuous data or continuous variable. Data that you have collected can be expressed in the form of ungrouped or grouped form. I hope in grade 9 you have ideas of ungrouped data or raw data. In this grade, we are trying to represent or discuss more on grouped data, especially continuous data. And there are terms that you are using frequently when you arrange a data in a group form, that is grouped data, continuous. Let me ask you that questions. Classify the following data as qualitative and quantitative. Classify the following data as qualitative and quantitative. I'll give you a minute to do this problem. Okay, let us see the answer. When you are looking religion, you may be Orthodox, Muslim, Protestant. The result is not a number. So religion is qualitative. When you come to height, it is a number which gives in terms of meter or in terms of centimeters. So we have quantitative data. So I can classify as religion is qualitative, height, it is quantitative data. When it comes to sex, male or female, so it is qualitative. When you are coming to income, amount of bills that you have, or in dollars, it represents income. Income, it is also quantitative data. Number of students in a class. In a class, this represents a number also. Rank of the students have also quantitative. And volume of water. In a barrel. This is the class what you have when it was classified. If you are coming from quantitative data, we can divide into two, what I call to be, you have continuous and discrete. Height, it is not always to be a whole number. 1.3 meters, 2.5, 0.9 meters, it could be when you are measuring the height of a student in meters. So this result includes decimals. So this is continuous data also. Income, you have amount of bills that you have. This is also continuous. When you collect that, our salary, after taxation, we'll have coins. So coins represent decimals. Number of students in a class, it is discrete data. You have this one represent discrete. Rank of the students, first, second, third, this represents also discrete. Volume of water in a barrel, it may be, we can measure it in terms of liters. You can have also decimals here. 1.5 liters. You can have also 300 milliliters, which means that you have 0.3 liters. So this represents continuous. So quantitative data can be classified into two as continuous and discrete. We say the discrete if the results of that data it is the whole number, the set of all numbers. When fractions or decimals are given, or if the results are between two real numbers, we call that one to be continuous data or variable. Take another exercise. Consider the following data. This is the mark of students in mathematics final examination. The teacher correct their paper and write their marks in the following way. This data, we call it that raw data because it is not organized. From this data, different questions may be asked. Try to give answer for the first 5 questions from A to E. To give answer, how many students take the exam? You have to count the numbers here. horizontally 5, vertically 4, 20. So your answer, it will be 20 students take the exam. How many students score less than 60? You have to refer all the given data values here. So by counting, you will have a number. In the first row, there is no student who has got less than 60. In the second one, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 5. 5 students, they have got a mark less than 60. What is the maximum score, or what is the maximum mark of the students? You have to refer also the data, and you will get a value which is 92 to the maximum mark. What is the minimum score or mark of the students? In this data, you have to see the minimum to be the equality of 45. So you know that when you are asked these questions, you can give an answer by looking the data given. Then, E, find the range it says. What it says, what was the definition of range? In a raw data, range, it is maximum value of a value minus minimum value of a data given. So maximum value it was 92 minus minimum value to be 45. You have got a result to be equal to 47. So the first 5 questions can be answered easily. When you come to numbers, letter F, group the data into 5 classes. When number of data collected is large enough, we'll try to change the data in a group form. But to change it into group or classes, first I have to find class mark, interval, class interval. So for exercise E, what is the class interval for this given data? Class interval the ratio of maximum value of a population function minus the minimum value should be divided by number of classes required. Number of classes required. In this case, I want to divide this 20 data into 5 classes. So maximum value, we have 92 minus minimum value 45, what you have calculated as a range, divided by number of classes required 5. You will get a value to be 47 over 5, which gives a result 9.4. Take this value approximately to an integer. Class intervals are taken as integer. So round up to the next integer. Once I know this one, we should be able to divide this given data into 5 classes. So we have ideas of class limit. When you discuss about class limit, the first value and the last element of a class interval, we call it that class limit. So we can divide this one as class limits, tally, and frequency it comes. We have to complete this one. What is the first class? This, the smallest mark is 45. From 45, count 10 integers. You will have out of 54. It is one class. This one group. Second, from 55 out to 64, this is the second class. Third class, add 10, 65 to 74. Next class, by adding 10, you have from 75 out to 84. Then from 85 up to 94. We have divided these 20 values in a group, especially into 5 classes. Then, idea of tally mark it comes. In which class each marks will fall down? If I take 75, 75 is a mark of a student which is found in the 4th class. 72 it is another mark of a student which is found in the 3rd class. 83 it is the mark of a student which is found in the 4th class. 69 is the mark of the fourth student, which is found in the third class. 80, it is the mark of a student in the fourth class. It will be in fourth class. That is correct. The same technique will be applied, and you will get a result as follows. When you complete your data and the tally mark, you will get this one. These are the strokes which shows that the mark of the students where it will be found. Then when you are counting tallies, you have 3. What does it mean? In the first class, there are 3 students. If I come from 55 to 64, we have second class. In the second group or class, there are 4 students. In the fourth class, from 75 to 84, there are 5 students. When these frequencies are added up, you will get a value to be the equality of 20 number of students who take the examination. Then, based on this one, you are asked a question. What it says? What is the lower class limit of the second class? The lower class limit of the second class. What is the class limit? This was the first class, second class, third class. Numbers to the left side, we call them lower class limits. The right numbers, we call them upper class limits of a given data. Then, when you are asked that, the lower class limit of the second class, it was from 55 to 64. So the left side, 55, it will be the lowest class limit of the given number. Data second class. The other what you are asked, what is the upper class limit of the second class? The upper class limit of the second class, it was equal to 64. And the next what you are asked, what is the class mark of a given data? What does it mean, class mark? When he says that here, what is the upper class limit? We have already completed. What is the class mark of the given data? Class mark, it is the representative of a class. In this class, the average of the 2 values, it gives the class mark of the given data, or class midpoint. 45 plus 54, 99, divided by 2, it gives class mark or class midpoint. Class mark. When 45 plus 54, 99 is divided by 2, you have 49.5. For the second class, the class mark is 55 plus 64, 119. When it was added up, divided by 2, 59.5 it comes. When you are coming to the third, 65 plus 74, 139. Divided by 2, you will get a result, 69.5. 75 plus 84 divided by 2, it gives a value to be 79.5. The last one also, 85 plus 94, 179, divided by 2 will have 89.5. This column, we call it class marks of each classes. It is the representative of each class. And what you are asking now, what is the class mark of the third class? The third class, it was from 65 out to 74. Then the class mark for that given data, it is 69.5 it comes. The last question what you are asked, class boundary. When you are measuring, we made a slight mistakes. Plus minus errors will occur. So for these classes, I will have a class boundary. The class boundaries are values which can be calculated by using correction factor. We should have first correction factor. Correction factor. Correction factor, it is the difference half of the lower class limit of a given data minus the upper class limit of the preceding class. So what does it mean? This was the first class, second class. The lower limit of this class, it is 55. The upper limit of the preceding class is 54. So correction factor it gives 1 over 2 multiplied by 55 minus 54. It gives a value to be equal to half, which is equal to 0.5. You can take for the class has a lower limit 75. The upper class limit of the previous class 74. 75 minus 74, 1 times half, you will get 0.5. Class boundaries, correction factors, it will be usually 0.5. And this 0.5 must be added up and subtracted from the limits. In the lower limits, when I subtract, you will have class boundaries. Class boundaries. You have 44.5 to 54.5. Second class, 0.5 when it was reduced, we will have a value 54.5 to 64.5. Third class, subtract 0.5, 64.5 to 74.5. 74.5 up to 84.5. You have 84.5 to you have 94.5. By adding and subtracting 0.5, to the left side you will subtract to get lower class boundaries. Lower class boundaries. Lower class boundaries. The right one, it gives that upper class boundaries. Boundaries. So what you are asked? You are asked to find the lower class boundary of the second class. Since the second class is between 55 and 64, when I subtract 0.5 from 55, I will get a value to be equal to 54.5 it will be. So I think this is the whole for this class. In this class, we have seen what is that statistics, collecting, organizing, presenting, analyzing, and interpretation of data to give conclusions. Okay, I think what I have discussed now, it was types of data, qualitative and quantitative, depending upon the results what you have got. Usually, in this unit, we'll discuss about quantitative data. So quantitative data, again, can be divided into two as discrete, where the results or values are whole numbers, and continuous if the values are real numbers, including decimals. When data that you have collected it is large enough, you can arrange the given data in a group form. In a group form, we have terms what you are using again. What you call is that class interval, class limit, class mark, the average of the lower class limit and the upper class limit. Correction factors, class boundaries will come. That is the whole for today's discussion. But today, well, since we have discussed about statistics, we are looking statistics in our daily life. እሺ ተማሪዎች የዛሬው ትምህርታችን በስታቲስቲክስ ላይ እንደሆነ ገልጫለሁ። አሁን በወቅቱ ባለው የቫይረስ ስርጭት ምክንያት ብዙ መረጃዎች በየዕለቱ እየተሰጠን ነው። እነዚህ መረጃዎች ከምንም የመጡ አይደለም። ችግሩ አለ። ምርመራዊ ለችግሮቹ መፍትሄ ለማምጣት ምርመራዊ ይካሄዳል። የተያዙ በቫይረሱ የተጠቁና ያልተጠቁት ይለያሉ። የተጠቁት ምን እየተደረገላቸው ነው? ክትትል ወይም በለይቶ ማቆያ እንዳሉ ተገልጿል። በለይቶ ማቆያ ካሉት ውስጥ ደግሞ የጠና ህመም ያለባቸው ወይም ሲሪየስ ሆነ ስንቶቹ ናቸው፣ ለሞት የተዳረጉም ስንት ናቸው የሚለውን ነገር በየዕለቱ መረጃ እየተሰጠን ነው። ይህ መረጃ ተሰባስቦ ውሳኔ መሰጠት አለበት። ውሳኔው ምንድነው? ከተለያዩ አካላት ውሳኔ ይሰጥ ይችላል። የመጀመሪያው አካል ጤና ሚኒስቴር ነው። የጤና ጥበቃ ሚኒስቴር ይሄንን አድርጌያለሁ ቁጥሩም እየጨመረ ነው ብሎ ነግሮናል። ስለዚህ ውሳኔው ምንድነው? እስካሁን ድረስ ለበሽታው አስቸኳይ መፍትሄ ልናገኝ አልቻልንም። በአገር አቀፍ ሳይሆን በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ግን የስርጭቱ ጠባይ ስለታወቀ ስርጭቱን ቁጥሩን መቀነስ ይቻላል እያለን ነው። ይህ በጤና ሚኒስቴር በኩል ያለው ሐሳብ ነው። ይሄንን እንዴት እንቀንሳለን የሚለው አንድ ንጽህናን በመጠበቅ በተደጋጋሚ እጆቻችንን በሳሙናና በውሃ መታጠብ፣ እጃችንን ሳንታጠብ አይናችንን አፍንጫችንና አፋችንን እንዳንነካ። ሁለት ቢቻል ቤት ውስጥ ብንውል ይመከራል። ካልሆነ ግን ርቀታችንን ጠብቀን እንድንቀሳቀስ። ሶስተኛው ሲያስነጥሰን አፋችንን በክንዳችን በመሸፈን ማስነጠስ እንዳለብን። ሌሎችንም በአመጋገብ ስርዓቶች ላይ ያሉትን ነገሮች ጥናታዊ አስተያየት ሰጥተዋል። ሁለተኛው አካል የመንግስት አካል ይህንን ጉዳይ ተመልክቶ ችግሩን ተቀብያለሁ፣ የመፍትሄው አጋር ነኝ፣ እንዴት እንፍታ በሚለው ላይ ያሉኝን ግብዓቶች ሁሉ አሰባስቤ አግዛለሁ፣ ሰራለሁ እያለ ነው። ግን ይህ ቁጥር እንደምትሉኝ የሚጨምር ከሆነ ብቻ ልወጣው ስለማልችል በጎ አድራጊዎች ሊተባበሩኝ ይገባል የሚል አስተያየት አምጥቷል። ለዚህም ነው በተደረገው ጥሪ ባለሀብቶች፣ ሙያተኞች እና ማህበረሰብ አካላት ተባባሪ የሆኑ በመከላከሉ ስራ ላይ የተሳተፉት። መንግስት እንደ መንግስትነቱ አስቸኳይ ጊዜ አዋጆችንም ሁሉ እያወጣ ነው። ሶስተኛው የእምነት አባቶች አካባቢ የሚሰጠው መግለጫ ነው። መረጃውን ተቀብሏል፣ ችግሩ አለ። የእምነት አባቶቻችን የሚሰጡት አስተያየት ቅዱሳን መጻሕፍቶቻችን ችግር በሚኖርበት ጊዜ ቤታችሁን ዘግታችሁ ተቀመጡ የሚል አስተያየት አላቸው። ስለዚህ የግድ ቤተ እምነት ውስጥ መምጣት ሳይሆን ቤታችሁ ሆናችሁ ከፈጣሪያችሁ ጋር ተነጋገሩ፣ ጸልዩ፣ ልመና አቅርቡ ናሉት። ምን በማለት ወረርሽኙን በሀገራችን እንዲሁም በዓለማችን እንዲያጠፋልን፣ የታመሙትን ምሕረት እንዲሰጥልና የሞቱትንም ነፍሳቸው እንዲምርልን፣ ለሙያተኞችም ጥበቡ እንዲገልጽላቸው፣ ይህ ወረርሽኝ የሚቀጥልም ከሆነ ጊዜውን እንዲያሳጥርልን ብለውን ምክር አስተያየት የሰጡት። ስለዚህ ችግሩ አለ፣ ዳታ ተሰብስቧል። በዚያ ዳታ መሰረት ውሳኔዎች፣ የመፍትሄ ሀሳቦች እየተፈላለጉ ናቸው። ስለዚህ ይህንን መፍትሄ ሀሳቦች ከተለያየ አካባቢ ቢሆኑም እኛ ተማሪዎች፣ ወላጆች፣ ማንኛውም ህብረተሰብ የተሰጡትን ምክር ሀሳቦች ተቀብለን የመፍትሄው አካል እንድንሆን እጠይቃለሁ። ተማሪዎች ትምህርታችን በዚህ ተጠናቋል። ሰላም ዋሉ።